And open the May 6, 2026 select board meeting. And do we have adjustments to the agenda? But under updates, we should have our request for opposition to Act 181 that we hadn't resolved last week. Okay, approval of the minutes of April 15th, 2026. I'll take a motion in a second.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any further discussion, corrections, deletions, additions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Comments from the community? Communities? Correspondence? Now pass the folder and look at your leisure. There is a plan, proposed improvements to the rail trail at the Fisher Bridge. They're gonna add a easier access for people, an access ramp for people to go from the parking lot to view the bridge. We received some information, I'm sure, from A&R. It has to do with the wetland program, contents for municipal websites. They just want the public to be aware, to check for wetlands before they buy or build to protect them from potentially costly project delays. And they recommend we copy and paste the text below into our municipal website's appropriate page. And it would give a property owner information. Is that something that we need to make a motion on or recommendation, or just give it to the zoning to put on?
Yeah, or I can add it, ask Bradley to add it.
Doesn't hurt,
Yeah, more info is always better.
right? We received the March patrol town report. We've received the determination of energy compliance in our municipal plan. February, and we received our approval of our town plan. And we received confirmation of the municipal planning process has been approved. April 28th. Vermont Municipal Employees Retirement System official notice, election of employer trustee. If someone would like to be a trustee, I think they can, there's a form you can go on. If not, John Potter is running. Received notice from the Office of the State Treasurer that the Beamers Group B election, the following employees have returned to sign an election to join Beamer Group B effective July 1 of 26. And so that is effective for all our employees that are qualified. And we have received a request for an extension of property taxes. I'm not going to read the name, but to the Wolcott Select Board or whom it may concern, I'm writing to you in hopes I could ask for an extension on my property tax bill. I have never been delinquent on my bills as I am now. I've been logging every day for the past couple of weeks trying to get caught up. I am even going to have no electric for a while because the bill got high using electric heaters and Capstone can't help saying my pay doesn't show something carrying out.
Think that he pays taxes or something.
Show, my pay doesn't show taxes coming out. The electric company will not budge or work with me. I would very much appreciate the extension and will set up payment plan ASAP. Would you also take into consideration my medical issues I am currently facing? I have COPD and had a heart attack in December, which put me into the hospital and out of work for 3 months. I will get caught up and I'm working 7 days a week to keep afloat. Thank you for your time. So with the new law for delinquent taxes in the legislature, that's a requirement that, is that, well, you tell me what the requirement is.
Requirement is that, we sent him a letter. I sent him a letter and I got no response, and then the lawyer sent him a letter and gave him a payment plan, and he's saying now that he can't. So then his next option is to appeal to the town, which he's doing, and ask if he can, do an extension. He doesn't really say when he could start paying. The select board could write a letter to him saying, we're willing to work with you, but we need a payment plan. And we can write the letter to him and send it back to him and bring it back for next meeting. I did try to reach out to him today after I received that, but, I didn't get any response. So it's up to the select board to say, yeah, we'll give you an extension and decide how long. Or if you want more information, we can request.
And he hasn't been delinquent in previous years.
No, that last year was the first year, and then he hasn't paid November's, and of course, May is coming up. I think I included what is past due
Yeah,
right
you
now.
can pass it around if you want to see the amount that he owes.
We'll say getting the tax lawyer involved has been beneficial. I've received almost 10 grand of the back taxes. Some I haven't heard from, but I'm hoping.
Belinda, can you remind me, is there a cap on the penalty?
No, so what happens is the voters vote on it every year at town meeting. And 1 to 5 days is 3%. 6 to 10 days is 5%, and then after that it goes to the full 8%.
And then
Each month,
What's the cap? 8%.
8% of the
yeah,
cap.
and then it's 1% a month for the first 3 months you're delinquent, and then it's 1.5%. On the unpaid tax balance, you don't pay interest on the penalty or on other interest.
Okay. I missed the November payment and now the May payment.
And last year's
Last year's May payment.
the whole thing, I think.
No,
No, just the May, okay.
Just the November.
yeah, sure. All of this year and one.
And when were
installment,
taxes due?
Installment.
So, last year, May 16th, and this year it was November.
Right, and then.
We have another one coming up, May. Yeah.
Okay.
But that shows on there, doesn't it?
Well, it shows 24, 25, but it doesn't say. What, so that's for the whole year, right?
That's what he owes from last year, yes.
Okay, so that would. So is the November payment,
It's not.
Considered- the November payment is payment 1 of the 25, 26?
Yes, and the other one's not due yet, so I can't show that it's being past due or delinquent.
Yeah. So what are we thinking? Extension. Is a payment plan essentially an extension?
Yes. I would recommend that we write to him and ask him what he can afford. And in the past, we told them that they had to keep current on their current taxes. And then they make payments on their back ones. Has been past policy, but you can do as you like.
I'm worried if he's in this hole right now, that the May 15th payment might be in trouble for him too, it sounds like.
Probably.
I would say maybe. If it was me, maybe give him until November to catch up with the back and tell him he has to be current November. And I think he could do it. It sounds like he's gone back to work, so. You know how it is, once you get behind, it's hard to catch up.
Right.
And if you're out of work with medical issues,
And I'm not really sure if he has health insurance either.
I would support finding a way to work with them. I'm just not sure what that looks like.
I think the best thing is to reach out and ask him what he can afford to catch up. We should give him a date to catch up. There's no sense saying, $500 a month when he can only pay 200.
Right. So I can write a letter to him and ask him if the board needs more information before they make a decision. And then tell him he has to get back to us by the 20th.
Alright.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That's that around, you look at it. We will now move on to replacement of the library patio. Library deck and ADA. Huh?
People get a copy of it.
No.
It's all, we all have copies.
It's on the back, it's on the back of,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
okay.
Thank you, Joe.
So the trust is in a position to restore the historic building. Right now, we see this project as this deck in the library caving in. And we would like to do something. The proposal is to remove it entirely because it's in the right of way. And it's going into it anyways. And moving the handicap access to the garden side, which would be maybe 5 feet long. Most. There is no funding through the town to pay for everything. And we also have the librarian and the trustees that signed their approval to the project.
So you'll move part of the fencing. So the opening will be a little
A little.
into the garden.
Talking with eight garden people on landscaping options and well, to get them prettier.
Town right of way goes right along in front of that.
Yeah, there's
In the middle of the deck.
there's a map
Yeah, let's look at it. Just put it on the screen.
that goes right through the deck. That probably shouldn't have been there to begin with.
Was the date put on when they did the renovations, or was it later? Was,
There really isn't a gate there anymore. It's just that arbor thing.
Right. But it would be hard to have a handicap ramp and walk in, because you're gonna walk onto the ramp. It's like, oh, if you wanna go into the garden and not into the library,
Yeah.
it should be separated
Yeah.
somehow. Right. Are you aware of any drainage problems on there?
Nothing that couldn't be solved by a little bit of rework. Once that rank is out of the way, right, elevate.
Yeah, we'll have to bring in a lot of topsoil, to grade it in the building some. Basically a grassy area, possibly some paving stones and.
We've been talking about snow guards and snow removal and things on the ADA ramp for what feels like generations now. The roof is still gonna have snow falling on the ramp. We have a plan as a part of this to put snow guards over the new ramp.
Do that?
We would add like, because there's a ramp, there's a snow guard there already, we could add a shorter one to adjust it for the ramp and then just put a shorter one over the front door now.
Perfect.
Have you ever solved the securement onto the slate roof?
They could do it with the old style, it's just that they did the staggered ones before.
They came right off, right?
They were insecure.
So there's good ones out there now.
Yeah, they've been there for years.
Okay.
And that's the style that I have had one bid for. But it was to do a much longer one to go over a good portion of the door. So that can be altered. Maybe we can I'll get bids again for both doors now to extend once that's done.
Basically from the door to the end of the building. Only about 5 feet.
And, the building on the right, that you see within, it says Wolcott. This is just an AI picture. That won't be there because that won't be part of the way new drive. Get that far?
That is an AI picture.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a rendering of what it might look like.
Oh, I thought Tommy pulled that from the old, anyway, never mind.
No, Bruce generated this in AI.
Okay, cool.
There won't be the cupola on top.
I do have an older one when the depot was back on the train, which is very similar except for a very short little a step by the doors. There's actually a picture on the wall up there that shows the same thing.
Notes, Tom, you said that there's no to pay for this, but is the trust? Okay.
Trust will be looking for funding and volunteers.
Yeah, there's some volunteers. Physical labor.
All held back from my deal.
When it becomes a thing, let me know. I'd be happy to. Yeah. Might even have some spare snow guard parts in my collection of things.
You collect things.
Not on purpose.
Also gonna put a railing on the building too. There was never a railing that I know of. Just
For what?
in rail.
For the door, get in the door.
Get up the ramp.
Oh, in the back, you mean.
not gonna be much of an incline, it's basically grade where you.
Yeah, ADA is inch per foot, 5x5 landing and things.
And does it have to have railings? Does it not?
I'm not sure. I think that if we can bring the grading up to the ramp, as long as there's not a step or a fall, I think you can get away without doing a ramp. Although, depending on how it would work out with the fence and everything else, I would say put a railing at least on one side anyway.
I don't think it needs on the outside, and put one on the wall side if they need it. I think they'll fall off, and that'll be very high off the ground.
Well, some people need it to, walk.
Yeah.
To balance themselves.
Any foot off.
Or
the
to
might
pull
be
yourself.
Yeah, but there won't be one on the
Mhm.
building side, and then the other one for ADA would be too far away to be.
What are you asking for tonight?
Just to approve the project, yes.
Me to take off the old deck and proceed with putting this new stuff on.
Finish directing it, right.
You said the trust has secured grant money?
Yep.
Yeah, or donations or,
It's next step, sure.
okay, so you need
Yeah, it's-
approval to start applying.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, as long as the fence opening, right, that was your question. Fence opening, and as long as the finished product is ADA compliant. I'll make the motion that we move forward on upgrading that.
We can work out those details too.
I'll second that.
Do you have any further questions?
Just one last, you mentioned the septic. Does anything need to happen with that?
Yeah, it's gonna be replaced, but pretty much in the same location. On the map, it has the existing locations.
Okay, there. Is the library not in the range to be tied into the municipal septic system?
It is. No, it's not. Also, it has its own, because it's gonna be a cafe and it's gonna have its own system. They're gonna. The existing pump station is gonna be fully removed. And replaced by a 2,000 gallon stepped system. Existing septic tank to be retrofitted as a grease tank.
But right now, it's on the municipal.
Right. It is until it goes,
It is.
but that's the future plan.
Right.
Okay, so the old septic system will become a system for,
When we have the wastewater go through.
So that tank is still gonna be inside the town right away, I think is the core of your question. Still gonna be in that road right away.
okay, which, it's
There's gonna be a grassed area, we'll
where it is.
put fence around it.
And you probably have to move that post, it's gonna be knocked over.
Well, isn't that the pumping station, that post, they're removing it.
Right.
That's what the plan said.
But you're gonna be doing this
I know.
before they change all that, correct? Yeah. Okay.
That's not gonna have any effect.
Right, okay. I think that was the question, is how is this gonna affect?
That's my further discussion or question. I'm satisfied. Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion on the table. All those in favor? Opposed? So carried. Thank you. Bring us updates.
Yeah.
Wastewater credit line of wastewater credit line bids.
Minor credit bid too. So, I put it out to 4 people that we are currently doing business with, as banks. Community Bank, never got back to me. Community National Bank got back to me, and then attached is all the paperwork from each of them. They came back with 4.98. Northfield Saving Bank had a 4.55, and Union Bank had 4.65. They're pretty much all the same. The only thing that I noticed on Union Bank, and I just wanted to point it out, because I don't know if it makes a difference or not. Under interest rate on the first page, it said if there is a change in the federal corporate tax rate applicable to Union Bank during the time frame, the note is outstanding. The bank reserves the right to adjust the interest rate in order to maintain the same yield on the note, which was applicable immediately prior to such change in federal corporate tax rates. So I just wanted to point it out that nobody else put that on their paperwork. And so there could be a change to them during this time, so I went over these documents with fine tooth comb to let you know that they were apples to apples, or there was an orange in there, you know what I'm saying? So that was the only difference it seemed from the 3 banks that applied.
Does that mean they lower the rate with the federal rate?
I don't think so. I think it would raise it. Unless, you know, maybe, I don't know, the Fed might with the new.
I mean, if they
Fed
wanted to
chair-
maintain their same yields, like.
I know, I'm just saying that there is that wording in there that none of the other ones have. Northfield, I do have to say, I do have a CD for the transfer station up there, and that is getting the best interest at the moment. That more than Union Bank. That where I have the other CD for transfer station. The people at Northfield want our business, and so, it is a good amount, but it's up to the board who they'd like to choose.
Union Bank's language makes me want to pull all of our money from the Union Bank. I don't like that.
Well, I just found I looked at ones in the past and that I didn't see that on there, so I didn't know if it was new
I mean,
language.
they're putting up front, they're not.
I appreciate their honesty. It's just that, you know, there's a certain amount of risk involved in all business. And
Yeah,
it doesn't get a whole lot safer than lending money to the tap. As far as credit rates. And
we did go with Community National. They gave us a lower rate when we did the 2024, but we're getting ready to pay that off June 2nd. So then we'll be done with that one. But Northfield, we don't have any loans with right now. The only thing we have there is a CD. And Union Bank, we have many accounts. So.
So Northfield has the best CD rate and they have the best loan rate.
Yeah, they're 0.10 lower, but that could be a lot on $1 million. Not that I'm gonna pay up to $1 million, that's if.
Well, all at one time, too.
Right.
It's not
Yes.
right.
We're gonna draw as needed and we're only gonna get interest on that. So I'm hoping as I draw, I then can get reimbursed within,
Including the interest though, right?
no.
Okay, so the town has to bear,
But we have a,
So the state said that we need, as soon as we pay the invoice. And the day we pay the invoice and borrow the
has
money,
reimbursement.
requisition the state so that we can get our money back within the
As soon as
30
possible.
days to pay this off.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it might be.
And we have-
and
No,
is
No.
this compounded daily?
I didn't see that.
It's 360, interest is calculated on an actual 365 basis, meaning interest accruals based on the actual number of days funds are outstanding.
Days, okay, so it's each day. Yeah, perfect. So if we pay it off in 2 days. We get the money back in 2 days, then it's not gonna compound much. So, yeah, that sounds good.
It's up to us to stay on top of it too.
Right. And we have to pay our vendors, you know,
Right,
so they continue to work.
so it'll be up to us to be watching our email and approve
Yeah.
those quick, huh?
I'm gonna do everything in the same day, and then that gives you guys a little
Yes.
time to authorize it, and then,
I give you and Nikki permission to call me.
okay.
Not- Oh, tell me it's there.
Okay, let's take a motion of who we would like to use our loans.
I make a motion to go with Northfield Savings Bank.
I'll second.
Any further questions on that? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Now, I'm thinking I'll wait until June, so I'll bring you the paperwork for first meeting of June, because I can't be here May 20th. Because I'm going to be school, and you guys will be at the school. So the first June meeting is when I'll have the paperwork, just to let you know.
So I'm just gonna tell you later, but tomorrow the RFP is going out to bid for the wastewater. So we'll just have to follow who gets it, the time frame and everything, and they said they only needed 3 days. Great. Transfer station.
So, I got an email from a man who lives in town. And he wanted to suggest some ideas for the transfer station about payment. He put the following problem into the Claude AI tool. He said he didn't know if the transfer station had Wi-Fi or cell service, but it seems like a reasonable solution to get away from the cash-only service on site. This also allows the town to put associated transaction fees on the people who choose to use non-cash methods to pay. So I explained to him that we do not have Wi-Fi, we do not have cell phone,
We don't have power.
and we run by solar. So that did not stop him. So then he went on to, he talked to about prepay. That I don't know if the town wants to go with prepay, like you would buy things here. We could prepay and then you would have an account or
I've
something.
been there, it doesn't work.
I know. He then suggested maybe putting Starlink up there. And,
Power.
No,
He-
but certainly some.
he
It's not-
said, I've updated the prompt that attached the new prototype. This took me just a few minutes. Maybe you could use Claude to come up with something that works better with all the constraints that you're aware of. So, I did chat GP or whatever. I basically came up with some of the things, the same things that he did, but here's my problem. He said we could use a Starlink Mini. This could be run on a separate rechargeable battery, up to 12 hours per charge. I talked to Linda and she said, stop the conversation with him. So I did, because I don't think he realizes my workforce to begin with. I don't know how much time it would take to train these guys. And every transaction we do through Municipay is what we have here. It's $1.50 charged to the person. And I don't think a lot of people, if your garbage is $2 for recycling, you're not going to give me a card and have me charge you another $1.50. They're going to give you $2. He makes it sound like he thinks we should get away from the cash. But to be honest, a lot of people deal in cash now. When they go to the dump, they know they're either gonna write a check or they're gonna do cash.
How many people need this service?
Have tried to give me a credit card. And all the weekends I worked up there 4, and they were new people. They were obviously not Wolcott residents, because I'm like, we have.
Or something.
I know
Yeah.
there's the Loyal County Solid Waste District,
They
other
take
sites, do any of them take
Johnson and Stowe, and that's it.
Johnson and stuff?
I'm sure if you're got a spot, you have Wi-Fi and all that, it works with a shack. Right on it, yeah.
It's a big station, and Johnson is pretty big.
Never been to the Johnson.
But Worcester and all of them and other places, no.
Yeah, Morrisville, right? Craftsbury does one.
It's over by,
It's on Cochrane Road.
yeah, and there's nobody manning it. I mean, you're pretty much on your own sometimes. There's one person standing there.
And then Craftsbury brings a truck in.
Yes,
So they're mobile.
and the truck driver is the one who collects everything.
At the other places I see, there's still just a human collecting cash, that's way easier to handle it.
I
don't think there's, right now in the town, I don't think there's a lot of overlap between card users and dump goers.
And to be honest, I'd have to work every weekend with these guys. I mean,
If the town gets to a place where there is cell service or Wi-Fi and a more consistent power connection or whatever, then sure, get a virtual payment system and then have a phone that is set up to receive those payments where they can certify that the Venmo has been made and we can deal with that. But as far as
I
reinventing
told
the wheel.
Stacy at Union Bank, and they're at 3%. So even if I didn't do Municipay, they're up to 3. Municipay is only 2.65, but that's up to $25. It's $1.50 no matter what. And a lot of municipalities use Municipay, but not at their transfer stations.
So I would just tell them that thank you, but at this point, the added cost of putting internet or electricity up there will increase the cost of dumping, which the economy right now, people can't afford it, but we'll consider it in the future.
Okay.
Was that?
I did have one person this weekend, he's a little upset with me because I said, she knocked on my window as I was dropping off the town trash and said, I thought tires were half price. I said, no, the transfer station's losing money. I said, there's no way we're going to have price for
What do you mean for green up?
tires. Oh, and no offense, but Michelle can attest to this, because I find this extremely. I was very upset about this, but anyhow, we found 12 tires right on Corley Road down by the bridge. Derek and I, when we did green up, and so I put them alongside the road. But I also went around Sunday and took my own trash to the dump and noticed the green bags that were there and everything, and there were a couple of tires and stuff. Monday morning, I went over to see if the guys were up there to let them know not to put the tires in the stockade, to leave them outside, because I was having the guy Ken come up and get them this week. Because we're taking the doors off the stockade and I didn't want to put in there, because they can't really move the doors anymore. They're falling off. No, they weren't there. But 16 tires were sitting beside the green up bag at the bottom.
Somebody dumped more.
I counted 40 on that road alone that hadn't been there before. So somebody in the middle of the night.
No, more than one somebody.
Yeah.
Tires.
And put it beside a green bag.
A town full of somebody's.
And we had 119 tires we picked up. And I know the ones from Corley Bridge were, they were, people must have been, they were right near the edge. There were 3 of them in the river we didn't even get. So I'm like, I'm not going in there. People must have been sitting in them fishing or whatever, because they were stacked up like 2 each. And I got scared, a duck flew up at me and I screamed at my son was like, okay, that's enough, we're done. So, but what I'm trying to say is, green up is probably going to cost us over 1,000, and that's what we budgeted. I think we had, he came and picked up the tires today, and he charged us $2,800 for everything he took.
He had though over 200, so there were quite a few in there.
That were already in there, we knew. But the lady got upset with me because I said, no, we're not doing half price tires this year at all. As far as I know, he paid full price.
Or you leave them beside some grade.
I'm hoping it wasn't her.
Full price or?
Last year either.
No, I didn't remember doing it last year, but she said, oh, you've always done it every year, and I was like.
It was familiar, like we did it once. We've done it.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned maybe we should do cleanup in the fall too, like we used to do, but.
Well, we had money in the budget for that, and we had a committee that did clean up,
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of, sort of like soda and beer cans have a deposit? Right? They talked about doing that with, disposable batteries. And they talked like, when you purchase them, you're paying the cost of them being recycled as part of that cost.
same as paint.
Yeah.
Why not? Is there any movement to do that with tires anywhere in this country?
When I go to have my tires done, I pay the price that and the garage.
Like $7 a tire.
Yeah.
So the cost of the disposal of the tire is baked into the price you pay to buy it.
Right, and right
And
now,
then-
we charge
and then
$6, and that's what it
All of that
costs.
money goes to the tire collection place, and so if you get a tire. It's like every tire we get at the station, maybe we get 50 cents for it, instead of paying $12.
Speak to your legislator.
Encouraging everybody, man.
That's where they.
I don't know if that's happening anywhere in the country yet. I feel like the whole country would have to. do
They are
it.
talking about energy drinks and stuff, the legislature is about putting 5 cents on them, so they won't, but they're never gonna.
You mean the thing that's thrown out more than the can?
I saw a new can this year I never saw, it called Daddy Natty. There was like 12 of them on my road, and apparently somebody's into whiskey, because there was a lot of whiskey. Fishing and whiskey, I guess.
Fishing. I don't end up on the roadside from fishing.
But thank you guys, I just wanted, and Michelle gave you guys, I think, a report on her thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
So again, it's very long one, because we had 3 weeks. Nikki, or Rich Farms has received a conditional use permit to operate as the Wolcott Town Stray Dog Bowl Center under the name of Rich Farms. They're gonna begin working on building the kennels, and they'll be ready for operation before July 1st, 2026, which is when our contract expires with Hyde Park and with the kennels there. Dylan has asked me to present this, and we'll talk about funding it. Dylan will be here at the June 3rd select board meeting, but he wanted just to present the idea to get you guys thinking about it, but we need to rebuild the highway department salt shed. And Dylan and Michael have been talking, and they were thinking maybe they could rebuild it with concrete pavers and then concrete blocks, and then install a hoop roof. And so that the design could be moved if and when we move the garage.
So, is it gonna be a freestanding building? Is the whole thing gonna be rebuilt? What?
The conversations I've had with Dylan is either try and somehow raise the roof and rebuild what is here so they can take 2 loads of salt at once.
Uh-huh.
Or the suggestion that we came up with was basically when you're standing and you're looking at the face of the garage and you look back and where they usually back the grader in,
Mhm.
try and flatten the area there and build with concrete waste blocks up to a certain height.
Mhm.
And then do the plastic hut structure over the top. So it would look a lot like, I think Elmore's new garage has a roof structure.
Uh-huh, right.
And then that way there, that roof structure and blocks could move to a new location if we ever got fortunate enough for that. But it would allow for a Barrett truck to back air or whoever delivers.
I think that's actually exactly what Elmore did from their old site. They moved that from their old site to their new site, that hoop structure.
And So will you be moving a little, just so you know, a little corner of that is in the rail trail property?
Of the existing salt.
Yeah, you know that.
Yeah, I think we would not necessarily abandoning, but we wouldn't be in the same footprint. We would move it.
Okay.
Would be my suggestion. I mean, I haven't gotten into that.
It looks like a hair, not much.
Yeah.
And where would that money come from?
That's what we have to figure out. So start thinking about it. We don't know how much will be left. That's why we're gonna address it on June 1st when we start talking about it. But what
I used
is,
to have grants for salt sheds and stuff, but I don't think they do anymore. I haven't seen them, have you?
they're doing a lot of brine, grants for brine, you know, the brine,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that's called.
Yeah,
Is it brine?
yeah.
Okay.
The liquid?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, Dylan attended something in Hyde Park to learn about that.
Yeah, Hyde Park has gone all brown.
The Parity Construction completed the overhang. I meant to say this last time and I didn't. They completed the overhang over the new solar panel box.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you donated that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, you need a thank you note then.
No, I don't. I'm glad to get the stuff off the shop floor.
And then they finished painting the columns at the town hall. So that's that. I just found out that we are required by the town, because of our MERP grant, we're required to set up an Energy Star portfolio manager account for the town property. And so I set it up and then I had to go back and enter all of the fuel, all of the electric, propane and oil bills into it for the past year. So that's ready to go and I'll continue to update every month now. Because they just want to get a baseline. For the rail trail, Tori wanted me to pass this along, and I think we're aware of this, it's Local Motion provides technical assistance to municipal walk and bike groups. They can assist us with safety improvements around the village, for walking and biking and making the village more welcoming. I know that we can't even consider this until the bridge and the wastewater projects are complete, but just to keep this in mind. It begins with a mobility audit and it can focus on strengthening the connection of the rail trail to the village. They can assess local ordinances and zoning bylaws for this purpose. But the rail trail, they're gonna start working. Dylan will be out next week. He's on vacation, but the other guys, we're gonna be working on street sweeping and things like that. He had hoped, if it's not raining tomorrow, to start a rail trail out there. The map, I'm sorry, that he saw and start to work on that grant. So once he finishes it, then I can put out an RFP for the ADA walkway, or it's under 2,000, our first estimate. So I have to read the guidelines again to see, because it's state money. I think I have to put it out to RFP nonetheless. Anyway, we'll have the ADA walkway probably built by fall. The signs are done, but they were wrong. Just send them back to the printer. The map itself. So Jackie apologized. So that should be to us by, I think, mid-June. And we moved on to the printing of the historic panel that would be on the backside. I prepared the employment contracts for the non-union and non-elected employees. There were 4. Vermont is an at-will state, and this is covered by the personnel policy. These contracts should be renewed annually, and then both the personnel policy and the employment contract should be signed annually, as recommended by the auditors. So I've given them to Linda to review and to sign them. FEMA, great progress and then backward steps always. So the work that needs to be happening this summer, I revised the the scope of work essentially. I sent it back because they didn't update the original conditions for culverts on Marsh Road. I just received it again to sign and they still haven't updated the fact that I'm seeking clarity because they still have it in the hazard mitigation that they want us to put in culverts, concrete head walls. So we're still waiting for that. And then we got hit with the new Army Corps of Engineer permitting requirements, which sent poor Joey Wilson into just a tizzy. Should spit to be tied because no one, the state nor Mike Adams, can explain these new requirements carefully. The state thinks that if a culvert resides on a perennial stream, the state can override the Army Corps of Engineers. If the reason this matters currently is because we have two culverts that are on perennial streams. This is not even talking about the East Hill culverts. Those are the culvert on Town Hill and culvert on Marsh Road that are sitting on perennial streams. The new requirements do not apply to, the new state requirements do not apply to projects that are this old. So I am working right now, I'm waiting to get the hydro study for Town Hill culvert. And then I'm sending it off to Chris Brunel to try to get the design because I don't want to pay for a design. And Lisa Schaefer of the state BEM said, look, Chris should be able to help us kind of give a design to give to the contractors because we're contracting both of those out. Anyway, in a holding pattern until we get that hydro permit that I ordered 8 months ago. The project that is paying for the work that has been completed has come in and we actually have the letter to sign so that we can get payments. They do need they do need us to submit all of the invoices and all of the photos of the project, the completed project. So I'm working on that. That needs to happen by the 15th. It looks like we would then receive $224,279.82. There may be a small problem because I think at the time that we estimated this project, they had not yet broken out the debris removal from Elmore Pond Road. And I think North Wolcott Road was also included in that total amount. So the amount may drop down to 38,000. I don't know how they're going to assess that. So.
So did you get paid for the debris separately already?
Yeah, 12, so, yeah, 12 something.
I'm not sure. I have to go through all of my notes and see how they computed this number. I may be wrong. We'll see. East Hill Culvert, I just explained. It's in, Joey doesn't know what to do, so it may be with the new requirements that he has to go back to his old plan. He designed it initially for $280,000 to replace that culvert. And then FEMA said, well, it's not on a perennial stream, and it's on intermittent. And given the guidelines, they're only going to authorize a 5-foot culvert. Now we don't know. So it may be that he has to resubmit it for the $280,000 culvert, and then we have to go through the change of scope, blah, 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 and maybe they'll pay for it. I don't know. That's where we are with that project. I renewed the land lease with B-Trans for the town garage, that small sliver of land, for another 5 years. I'm trying to collect all of our lease renewals and grant follow-ups for any of the land holdings that we have that are associated with the government, and we have them in a database. Just wanted to let everyone know we have those in spreadsheets so that, and then I put them on the Google Calendar for the admin for future years. Still alert people. I kind of wanted to talk about the town hall floor refinishing. I think we have to put that out to bid. I don't know who normally would handle that. But I would like it scheduled for the first week in August, because I think that makes the best fit for the usage of the hall.
It used to cost us $100 in materials.
Yes, but then he doesn't do it anymore. The guy, Joe, doesn't do it anymore. He recommended instead the person, and we called that person, and then
I wonder if Phil would do it, seeing as he doesn't work for the school anymore.
Phil Teal? Oh,
no, Phil is still there until June.
Well, what's he doing in August?
I don't know.
Well, he's done it before.
Phil who?
Cardinal, the janitor at the school.
Cardinal?
We can call him.
We just need like two.
He might,
that's
a couple
$2,000.
$100 in some materials.
Okay.
I mean, how much did you get?
The guy told us what, 1,500 or something else like that?
So I may not have to put it out to bid, but I thought we might get a better response if I did. Or at least post it.
Well, Phil, see what, if Phil's interest, who knows, you might go on a cruise.
Might pay for his. The highway department, they've been grading and chloriding the roads. The new, Jim is doing really well at grading, so he's been doing most of the grading now, and Dylan's really pleased. They repaired an older trailer that was in disuse. I think that's the one you wanted to kind of maybe grab for the.
It was the one I had in mind. It was the one, the chloride trailer that they've had forever that they were gonna cut up and turn into a truck bed when we still had Dodge.
Yeah.
And then there was an order with like last month where they spent $600 on spring shackles and now they're using the trailer again.
Yeah, so they wanted to pull the chloride tank behind the truck instead of putting it in one of the new trucks, so they've got it up and running. They received an estimate to repair the bed and the rusted portions of the 2018 tandem, the Western Star. It's approximately
Here
$20,000.
we go.
But
Well, so I don't know if this is a conversation you've had or not. But something I talked to Dylan about was if our replacement schedule is correct and we are going to try and stretch the 18 truck to take delivery of a new one in 28, 9 or 30, then we need to start making sensible investments in it now. We know the body on those trucks don't hold up. That was the problem with 16. That was one of the problems with 13. So I suggested that if he wants to try and keep that truck rather than us dump 300,000 on a new one, tell us what it's going to take to buy 5 more years with the body that's on it.
well, 3 to 5, yeah.
3 to 5.
So he did get an estimate. It was estimated about 12 to 15, but there was probably like, if we don't see anything else. And so he's like, let's just give an estimate of 20. And just think about it for the June 3rd meeting, because there's gonna be money to carry over, but there's a lot of requests for them. We got a big list going.
And my understanding, just hanging on the truck for a minute here, was that the truck is not in need of the repair, as in it will get us through next winter if we do nothing. But if we do nothing, we are going to be in truck 16 again. We're gonna come up. Fine for $40,000 truck and then bunching our replacements all together.
So just keep that in mind too. That's another wish list item. They picked up the picnic table donation from Morrisville, so it's out there. Table. They replaced a culvert on Brookview and a culvert on Brook Road.
Not Brookfield,
I
Baldwin.
hope
Oh,
not.
Brook, yeah, thank you, I'm sorry.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's a private road.
Talk about, there you go, what have we done?
I'm gonna be getting called.
Okay. Dylan and I spent some time doing summer highway planning. You have that sheet in front of you. While you're looking at it, I would just like to say that we did get the municipal highway grant that we didn't think we'd get because we were 20th in line. So We got it to do the first section of North Wolcott Road, which is to replace 5 culverts and then resurface the asphalt. I'm hoping this is unofficial because they moved our grant forward as being, they recommend that it be, awarded, but they have to wait for the legislature to tell them if they receive the funding that they need. I think what may happen is we may have to postpone that just because I don't know about permitting that on those culverts that are going around out into the river. I've sent Michelle Redmond an email asking about permits for that and if we need to get hydro studies and all of that, but that's possibly a grant that can roll over for 2 years, the work can be completed next summer.
And the stations on this doesn't address the slope failure we were talking about a while ago, that's up towards the town line.
This is the grant that starts just before, if you're heading toward Craftsbury, starts just before Town and Country Sheds, where all that paving needed to start, and then it hits 5 culverts, and just past Parodies is the last culvert, the 19.
Just before Sand Hill.
Yeah, right in there.
Yeah,
So
Bill
that's-
Max's driveway.
Yeah, it's just before Sand Hill, yeah, because then we would have Sand Hill and West Hill to kind of.
Yeah.
Yes, to detour. And that grant was for 138,000, something like that. Our share of that is $27,618, and that's another reason to maybe put it up before next year. Although the pricing to do the work will get more expensive, but we have to figure out how to come up with 27,000. I didn't think we'd be in this position here, to be honest. I'm glad we are, but. Then I just found out yesterday that we got the Better Roads grant to do, that was for $28,072.
Oh, Elmore Pond.
Yes. So that is to replace 2 culverts and then do 3,900 feet of road resurfacing and a lot of ditching. So it starts right between at about 1163 Elmore Pond Road, which is right in between Corshane and the beginning. And then it extends. We replace a little bit of one culvert on Corshane Road and go up just a little bit of the distance, and then continues on Elmore Pond, east on Elmore Pond Road to about 1961. So we're awarded $20,000. The town matches $5,000, and we projected the cost to be $28,000. So I think it includes town labor. I think we'll be fine with the $5,000 match. Dylan and I met with a couple of people for the grant and aid for this summer's grants and aid that we have to complete. It's a total of $25,000 coming from the state and $5,000 match from Wolcott. We met with both Dan Judkins with V-Trans and then Alec Jones, the Planning Commission, because we were originally looking at Sand Hill. Sand Hill, that embankment drop off, that real treacherous parts. And both of them were saying this is not a project for grants and aid. And Dan actually said, when we met with him 2 days ago, he said, this is probably if you apply for grants and aid or better roads, it would take you 10 years to do segment by segment because it's about 150 to 200 feet long, and you'd have to start at the part that's least eroded and work your way up to the most eroded. He said he doesn't recommend it. He actually said.
Someone was at the door, but I saw Ryan walking into the parking lot, so.
I heard some of the stuff like favorites for a while.
He actually said, it might just be better to let it fail and let FEMA fix it.
They have money.
Well,
If we're about emergency management, maybe.
He said, and then if it does fail in the meantime, you've lost all that money that you've put into already kind of fix that. That was that discussion, so nobody can really quite figure out what to do with Sand Hill.
Somebody just picked up from that.
Not that I necessarily want to travel West Hill to get home every night, but Sand Hill didn't always connect.
We were talking about what happens if it does fail, and there are avenues, except for that one man who sits right across, that new driveway that's kind of roped off a little bit.
Yeah.
That one, they may be, that property owner may be a little bit compromised, but they could probably, depending on where it fits, if it fits.
Whipples.
Yeah.
So, then Dan, then we all looked at Maury Hill. I think we decided that, we met with Alec to, and finally Dylan's gonna meet with Joey Wilson up there to see how it would be designed if we decide, if the select board wants to go that route and start applying for better roads grants. 20,000 a year to just really rebar the crack, riprap the slopes. Would need to be designed because there's no way to really secure that area. Getting out of the right of way, you'll still need easements, but without getting into the river. So a design would be necessary for that.
On Maury Hill.
No, I'm sorry, Sand Hill.
Sand Hill.
Back on Sand Hill. And finally, on Sand Hill, Dan said if it would be wise to cut some of those trees that the stumps are kind of weighting down that slope, so we could cut the trees. And he recommended that let them fall down the slope so that they provide a little more stability if the water does come, with a higher volume of flow or higher velocity. So we decided to do, Alec pulled together the Maury Hill for this year's grant and aid. And it's gonna be 2 culverts, a lot of ditching and stone lining of the ditches, and then stone lining of the inlet and outlets of the existing culverts. I don't have that priced yet, but with grant and aid, I will get it priced before they start it. And with grant and aid, you don't have to do the full amount. You could stop, you just have to complete segments. So we can go as far as we can with the money that we have. The road crew filled in the holes in the asphalt with cold patch on Flatiron Road and School Hill. Dylan wanted me to mention that he needs a cutting edge bit board for the grader. And so he's just gonna have to use the tire fund from this year's budget to make the purchase, and then he'll get tires with the next year's budget. There has been a request from a landowner on Town Hill. In 2023, the culvert was washed out. It's the Doty Conk culvert. DOTY, Roxanne Doty. That culvert washed out in 2023, and we replaced it, upsized the culvert from 18 to 24. And then in the fall of 2024 flood, there was significant scouring. And so the culvert sat about maybe 8 feet higher than the ditch. And so they went out in December of 2024 and they added 6-inch to 2-foot stone to prevent further erosion and scouring. Well, the resident is saying now up or downstream from that, it's still scouring, and they want us to pay for 2 to 3 foot stone to continue lining the ditch on the property. Because they feel like the 2023 culvert washout issue has significantly continued to erode the ditch out of the right of way. And it's about 10 feet way out of the right of way. So I estimated, Dylan said it would take about 3 loads of 48 cubic yards of stone. It would cost us over $1,056 plus delivery. Dylan doesn't think, well, in his opinion, it's out of the right of way. It's not our problem, but I told the homeowner that I would talk to you. For it.
It's out of the right of way. I mean, I know a landowner that's losing 60 feet a year to the wild branch. Water happens.
And I think we do have the right to have the water go on the property, don't we?
I'm not sure. I think so.
That's been there forever. That
Isn't that what the state's been
Yeah.
doing with all the new road designs, is because make them drain properly, it goes onto the property right off it, and that's the way it goes. Winter you lose.
I mean, I do know that there are some requirements in our highway standards and at a state level for stone lining ditches, but again, we can't really operate outside of the right of way.
So they're complaining about what happened in 23.
They're complaining about the series of failures in 23 and 24. The town fixed all of those failures and we were reimbursed by
They're
FEMA.
like, act of God failures, no, they're not.
Well, we were
Something
paid by
that we
FEMA.
did.
No, they're not. And we were paid by FEMA, but the property owner is saying it's still eroding and I want you to fix it. And we fixed the problem well outside of the right of way, almost, it's outside of the right of way. We added a lot of rock. And we did what we needed to do.
Is the erosion due to the increased stream flow because the culvert's bigger?
She thinks so, but we're required to upsize by state standards to an 18-inch.
Well,
Okay,
the
where would the
same
water
amount of
go?
water is gonna go through there, whether it's little or big. So,
Does it take out
Yeah.
whatever roads or is it like?
I mean, the only thing I think could be different is maybe the speed of the water is a little faster the bigger.
We can't control that.
Right,
I mean, we did upgrade to a 24 from an 18. We're required to put in 18s.
but I mean, the trade-off of letting the water go through faster is now it won't back up and then undermine it and take the whole
Right.
thing, right, so.
does anybody wanna go up and take a look?
I can drive by.
I'm not an expert, so I don't, I mean, it's really hard to say,
This is Town Hill.
like, yeah, it's probably.
There's someone on the left-hand side.
It is
Right up.
up right at the end of the paving or right before the end?
Right before.
Right before the end of the paving.
Oh, no, the paving goes further out. Yeah.
And
Is this
just,
the house with like the deck out front?
No, you can't see the
No.
house.
You can't see the house, it's off
Okay,
to the
You'll
right.
definitely see the culvert. It's very, very deep. It did get scoured, but the rocks are preventing further scouring.
and
The stone.
just like all other towns, and this is mostly for the recording than anything else, but just like all other towns, we've got a 3-rod right away there, so 25 feet off the center line is the edge of where we can control. Is that true?
But the problem is they basically built it where they shouldn't have.
Cool.
That house is,
Oh,
I mean, you go down the road a little bit and you're looking down into a ravine.
You can build it any place you want to, but you gotta maintain it.
Right, but I'm just
If
saying,
it's their ditch, then it's their
it's
ditch.
their.
Big house on the other side of the ravine too.
Yeah.
well, I think it'd be a lot easier if people had the opportunity in the next 2 weeks to drive by.
Yeah.
And just take a look, cause it's too hard to.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're trying to envision it and you just can't.
yeah. My feelings on the
First
matter,
floor.
not that it matters without the knowledge, but,
First one on the right.
if it's inside the right of way.
On the left.
Duty to stone line it.
well, the culvert goes to.
Yeah, if whatever's outside of the right of way, I'm sorry, but that's. When the Bruce Brook behind my house washes, I don't get. We were just talking about Sand Hill and we're gonna let Sand Hill wash away. Put things in perspective here.
Okay, oh, and finally, we had excellent community support for Green Up Day. We had the volunteers and the road crew picked up 256 bags of trash, 119 tires, and 38 miscellaneous items. We had 109 volunteers register, and they registered to clean up 44.25 miles of roads and the rail trail.
The rail trail is bad.
I drove by on my way home from work and saw an actual army of people on Gulf Road, so whoever you were, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Gulf Road looks great. How was, I was worried when we said that we couldn't take mattresses at the transfer station anymore. How many mattresses?
We didn't get any.
Really?
He said we never do.
Huh. I drove by Maury, Baldwin Brook and I saw a mattress.
Apparently we didn't pick it up.
Somebody else must have found that. So I was curious.
And no sleeper sofas either.
Usually those are dumped off in secluded areas that.
Well, Corley Road could have used one instead of them sitting in those tires.
Well, I know Sackwoods used to be a
Yeah.
favorite dumping site, but,
It still is near Mud Pond.
how was it?
Well, the state stays on it. Yeah.
Well, between the house there.
Yeah.
Steve was out Tuesday doing from Route 15 up to Hardwick. And they got a lot of bags. They had all these clear bags along the road.
Got a trailer plus the back of a truck.
Yep.
Filled right up.
Okay, thank you, Michelle.
I'll take the next one.
Yeah.
You have in front of you this sheet, the bids for the RFP for the seasonal mowing. Michael and I took a look at these when we opened them and recommend that we go with Isaac Spalding with Spalding Property Management, just because A, it came in the cheapest, and B, it's for continuity. They've been doing the work for the last 3 years and doing a great job.
And they've already done spring cleanup. They came Saturday.
Yeah.
And they only charged 160, and I thought they did a good job.
Make a motion to go with. As a. Holding Property Management LLC,
3-year contract.
3-year contract.
I'll second.
Do we have any further discussion on that? And all those in favor? Yeah. Those opposed? So carried. So
There's
I.
a contract there to sign to, if you will, please.
Mhm. I will pass it around.
124. So Google Street View has picture of that culvert on Town Hill from July of 2024. And erosion before the work was done though.
Number of signatures required. Yeah, it's a little confusing right now. Richard and I are designated to. By the board to sign the orders, but, so we need to, update that. What's the board's pleasure? So Bill's order, especially payroll, goes out on Monday.
Yep.
And they need to be approved by Tuesday at noon.
Yes. So then, because ADP is gonna go ahead, but until I don't necessarily have an approval, I'm like, what? Yeah, so I need that
So
approval.
what's the board's pleasure about that?
What are our options?
All of us can do it, if you can do it by noon on Tuesday, or we can appoint 1, 2, 3 people, depending on what you want. But you're allowed to do that.
Can it be
Statute.
as soon as there are 2 of us? Then it's clear, or
Well,
It
it could be, but I mean, so who do you call when there's only one?
Call me.
Oh,
If we're gonna stick with 2, if that's the board's pleasure.
but before it was Linda and Richard. Is it better to keep it designated? No.
If more people want to approve it, that's fine, but I
Right.
need at least 2.
It doesn't have to
If you
be.
decide
so
that.
you still get the orders, and you
Right.
still can sign.
Yeah.
But
And you
Any
can
other
still,
questions?
but-
you can still ask the question.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's just for to expedite the process. That's all.
Like I'll be sending out orders tomorrow for bills. And I'll say, you know, I'm gonna send them out Monday, but could you approve them by Friday so we can get them ready to go in the mail? And because I like to get my discount from NAPA and stuff, I'll be honest. And that way, you know, we can qualify for that. If I don't get that at second, I can't release it.
Right.
Because it's set up right now, 2 approvals. You go to 1, I'll contact you all, but Linda would, or Michael or whatever, 1
I
would,
don't really want to do it alone.
yeah. And I don't blame you for that, so.
So that was my feeling, sir.
Yeah, and I've opened up some of those bills. And that's a massive list of things to go through.
And cross against different accounting codes and.
And Linda, she is good at that.
She's sharp.
She has questions and we answer.
What did you ever figure out with hardwood collecting it?
So they all there.
Yeah, they,
Residential or are we
it
staying
is commercial.
as commercial and they're gonna change?
They are gonna change it, but the bad news is it's gonna be expensive.
Linda thought it was cheap.
It was cheaper, but because it is cheaper, the rate, but there's an extra fee they added in commercial that makes it like $6 more.
I had them call Linda directly because I didn't understand it at all.
When they set up the account, they set it up wrong.
Well, just call
And
them,
they're not gonna back charge us for their mistake.
just call them and say that we made a mistake. Jax lives here. If it's the house of the mayor, it's ready.
Mansion,
Yeah.
that's what they have in New York, right? Is that Gracie? The New York City's main world.
So, yeah, I can be, if we stick with 2, I can be better about it and then call me if I screw up, if it's.
And if we got one and then somebody else wanted to sign, that would be considered 2 and we'd be fine. And we'd leave you alone, Mike.
And generally speaking, those come out, I know, like you said, you're putting them out tomorrow. I mean, is it date based? Is it time of the month based? Is it week?
It's usually, I try to pay the bills by the 10th or by the 12th, it's the latest, because that's when NAPA gives us the discount too. Every other week
Okay,
is bi-weekly for payroll, and we just check on Mondays. Like the next week is pay week, so,
And once we start doing wastewater, we'll need to get them,
On it.
yeah.
you know.
So it'll be special order.
That I will be urgently
Yeah.
contacting you, and I will call yourselves,
Yeah.
so you know.
just thinking if there was a way for me to put a reminder in my phone that says check.
We can send you the dates and you could do that.
That would be great.
Yeah, we can come up with a schedule for that.
It'd be good to throw it in the calendar.
Yeah.
And a set
Well, it's around the
calendar
time.
reminder in the morning when I get up. Oh, hey, I gotta do it.
You're gonna say, cause I get so many different VLCT and all kinds of other emails. So I don't know, I just get a notification.
I have folders now.
VLCT is-
That's the only way I survive. You all put those packets in the mail, right?
No, and the ones that you left me on Monday, there were no takers.
Bruce didn't take his.
Bruce didn't take his. Bruce left in a hurry. I'm not sure if he was busy.
Well, I'll see him at the trust and I'll give it to him.
And the other 2 were virtual anyway, so.
Yeah. You guys didn't get anything from VLCT? They gave us a whole pack. Well, yours hopefully are coming.
I could have what?
He's going to the,
All their upcoming events.
yeah.
Yeah, I got all those at my new select person.
All right, so there's a recommendation on the floor that Belinda can release checks with 2 approvals. But everyone, and we're not gonna say who those 2 approvals are. 2 approvals, she can release them, but we'll all be notified of the bills. Is that all right?
Yeah, that works.
And Kurt, you can always come in anytime and take a look at them. You have them right in that vault.
And Belinda set me up on a little table next to the vault where I slipped through them. And I got about halfway through and I was like, I need another hour.
Talk to us about the, Champlain Oil parking lot.
I'm sorry, did you want to mention that?
No, it's a recommendation, I guess. Is that good enough?
Is there
That's good.
policy? Or,
No.
okay,
And if you would just tell me I need to.
okay. Well, let's keep going.
Are you doing this or Michelle?
I've been looking for the email.
I might have a few.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so Mike and I have had with Brian Ernst, who's the president of the Champlain Development Group, which owns the Champlain Oil parking lot. He said that they are willing to donate the Champlain Oil parking lot to the town. He has asked that Wolcott facilitate and pay for the appraisal. And we think that the appraisal can cost us maybe 700-ish, between 500 and 700. And then we would pay the closing costs, the filing fees. So with the cleanup, which is about 28,000, and then these costs, we're still staying within that $30,000 budget that's set aside to acquire.
Did they know?
They didn't know the top dollar. No, when we started conversations, he said the last number that was discussed was 40 and
40.
just said that we were a very long ways away from what we could pay. But it was apparently, according to it was more tax advantage for him to offload it, take the
Yeah.
loss on his balance sheet, not have to pay for the cleanup, not own a piece of land he can't do anything with, and take that as a donation on his.
What's the tax value?
20.
It's currently at 16, I thought,
Was it 16?
Think so.
Yes, yeah.
currently.
But he
Tax
said
assessed.
it was assessed, it was appraised, 10 years ago? 2005, a long time ago at 20 or 30.
Yeah, but that was before they knew it was a brown.
Right.
And when Bob was still using it for customer work.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean,
Right.
what's the
that's a good
alternative?
deal.
Just have them pay us to take it from them? I don't think we're gonna get that.
I think we got a good deal.
I think this is a good deal.
That's what was recommended at town meeting
Mhm.
by Mike. I think his name, what's his last name?
Thomas.
Thomas. Should get him to give it to us.
Cleaned up and
No, not cleaned up. They're not gonna give it to us cleaned up. Why would they give it to us?
no, that's what he was saying, let them clean it up and then buy it from them, not.
Yeah,
Oh,
that-
I thought they said.
no, that is what he said. I remember that.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna achieve the same goal for the same money. Oh, super.
And we're gonna tap it, right?
Yeah, that was what that 28,000 number was.
The corrective action plan.
Mhm.
Take
I was
the
trying to
soil.
see, take some of the soil out.
Yeah, up 6 inches and. Yeah, that's.
Now, wouldn't we have to take that concrete structure out too,
Concrete structure.
where they used to have the pumps?
Sure, I don't remember seeing that in the,
That's still there.
Yeah, that's still there.
yeah, but they've got a.
Why would we take it out? Just gonna use it as a
It'd be
parking
easier.
lot.
Oh, right up along the road. Okay.
Oh, that thing. Oh, that.
I mean, make it easier for plowing.
Was that for a platform for pumps or was that a,
Platform for,
or that wasn't a footing for a sign?
that's where they had the pumps.
I don't know.
We can pull in,
Yeah,
pay, pull out and go.
kind of like the store now, but even closer.
I think that the grading and all that is taking soil away, so it's made it more noticeable.
Yep. I was actually wondering, because I used that lot to practice grading. And I'm like, this is a brownfield, should we be disturbing this?
When you look through the study, I think a lot of the contamination is lower than that.
It's
Yeah, it's
deeper.
Lower than
It's at the 2+ foot,
Okay, okay.
but I'll tell you later where it came from.
I think I heard of it. Well, no, there's no hotel or something. Right?
Do we need a motion to?
I think so. I think this is important enough. Have a motion to accept, Champlain Oil's offer.
And to pay for the appraisal.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Well, you may want to amend it because they want us to pay for the closeout cost too.
Oh, right. Yeah. Amend the motion to pay for the appraisal and the filing fees, closing costs.
What happens if we get some?
Nothing amended yet.
I love that part.
I don't know. It's enough.
I'm sure we're.
For
one thing.
Alan, you seconded that? Yeah.
Yes.
A little trim.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Yeah, chocolate.
Dax, you're out of luck.
About 5 minutes alone, it won't be.
I don't think so, either. Are we starting yet?
Seems to think so.
Well, I'm pleased. Good job. Actually.
Good.
Redevelopment plan.
Yeah.
Downtown.
Yeah, well, and the eventual. There are charging stations on the
Yeah.
plan. Yeah. that
Clean
makes
it
sense.
up and make it presentable when you drive through.
We have those pots.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too is at a state level, they're talking about limiting the ability for municipalities to dictate parking in higher density residential areas. So in 100 years, when Wolcott becomes a metropolis with high, tall, big buildings, there will always be a municipal parking lot.
Well, there should be. Every town has one of some sort.
We kind of have one now.
Yeah.
Be a formal, it'll be nice.
Be able to pay that.
We'll have to pay that.
We don't need to pay that. Just paint lines, grade sidewalks, plant trees.
So we have a request for a permanent structure in the town right of way. Northeast Community Broadband. There's going to, install and maintain approximately 423 feet of fiber optic cable encased in conduit and one utility pole. 264 feet aerial fiber along the west side of Town Hill Road. They had talked to Dylan in the fall and we had approved this right of way excavation. But it was in the winter when the snow was there. Signed it in June. She said it was the, anyway, when we went up. They determined that Dylan determined that it would be better to have a pole there. Was his recommendation. And he recommended map be included and that they flag it. They have included their certificate of insurance and their deep safe number, which is required as a policy, and I'll pass along.
Did they give us a big say?
Yeah, I wrote it on here.
Oh, okay.
They didn't give us a ticket by the number. So they are very, very anxious. It's holding them up to get this permit approved. Dylan has approved it.
He just asked that, that the conduit be flagged with a ribbon, that is buried 1 foot above the conduit for a warning sign during future excavation. As well, did you say that?
No,
And some type of map, it's, you know.
so I reached out to the guy about it. When Dylan's text, and he sent me this map. But he said when he's done, he will send a better map when it's actually in, but so you could know where it is, and I think we should. Put here on the restrictions. Of the flagging and the map.
Okay.
This is, so they're gonna go aerial here instead of underground or combination?
No, the blue is the excavation underground and the conduit. I think the pole's there to go to the house.
Okay.
But
It had something to do with the fact that the culvert's in the way.
so I thought Dylan said that they are moving the pole back. And then he asked that they,
Do we know the address of that?
no, I just have that it's on Town Hill.
It's on Town Hill,
Close to like Raspberry line.
no,
Still on.
it's, I thought I read somewhere, right here it says, the name of this road or street is Town Hill. The proposed work will be located approximately 3,200 feet from the intersection of East Hill Road.
Oh, okay.
I do not know whose property it is. I never discussed it.
Are we also in effect granting them a right of way? Or not a right of way, an easement? That'll have to be recorded somewhere.
Well, you know, I spent all weekend on this. I read the state statutes. All we have is this excavation permit, but it refers to this excavation and obstruction policy. And like nothing fit. I gave up. Nothing fit about having a structure in the right of way. And they put together this thing and I said, okay. But I think it's something, you know, what does obstruction mean to you? It's clogged, it stops, it's something. What does a structure in the right of way have to do with an obstruction? It made no sense to me. But I got tired of it.
We
so
will
the
have,
answer to that, that's inconclusive, we don't know.
there's no ditching in that section of the road.
No, I mean, I don't think we have anything, any permit. A town permit to put a structure in a right of.
So I feel,
I don't really think this is the right permit, but I'm not gonna fight it.
yeah, I just, yeah, somewhere in that permit, it said something about install and maintain, so that seems like it's a deeded easement. It might need to be recorded.
Oh, yeah, that will go in the highway book, the
Should,
town highway book.
should it also
It
go
will be-
somewhere in zoning, cause it's our
No,
right of way.
it goes in the town highway book,
Okay.
and same as with, driveways and.
Yeah.
Mileage, so it will be recorded.
Cause you know, by obstruction, I think my understanding would be that it's no different than the power company putting a pole.
So the power company, when they put a pole, and I actually came in and went through our land records, they do a pole permit and they produce that permit.
Mhm.
And then this is exactly at the border with Craftsbury.
How could it be at East Hill, the corner? of-
3,200 feet is
Oh,
3/5 of a mile.
okay,
And that's
wherever.
the distance, yeah.
I
Just found it
don't know,
right
I don't
here.
know where it is.
It's right at the curve where it goes from Powder Hill to West Hill. At the Crest Bridge.
All I knew from doing specs was something
Yeah, that little-
to do with a culvert.
You know the big pull off right there?
Yeah.
In the town line? That's
Yeah.
just off the map right here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is right at the Crest Bridge.
We did it before, they're just changing it somewhat and putting a pole in at Dylan's request. And he approved it.
Oh, it's fine. I was just curious where it was. It just didn't really say.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve this again. As long as the maintenance easement is recorded in the highway book,
Mhm.
like all this. And the installation meets the criteria they have listed as far as depth and flagging, which is industry standard.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. So Michelle, I'm gonna sign it, and Dylan has to sign it, but can you put in his restrictions?
I will, but you all signed it before. I just didn't know.
Well, there's only one place. No, I just signed it, that one, the old one.
Oh, I thought I just saw.
All right, I see up above. Right?
Yeah, before I send it, I'll definitely have that.
So I guess last time you all got that line that says approved. Getting there. It says, I guess your son. I had a bunch of updates for you. I don't know if you saw in Front Porch Forum, a little mess going on with, Wolcott, elementary school fundraising for their sixth grade. They had a nice spaghetti dinner, which I attended, went up there to support the kids, and then the school's keeping the money and won't let them use it for their trip to Boston. So the parents are scrambling to raise more money. They asked to have a bottle drive again this weekend at the transfer station, and I said, go ahead, based on the circumstances. They also want to use the town hall for concert, and I said I would check and see whether that would be considered a pre-town thing, or they would pay the $60 fee.
Lot of music for. User refrain. Question, because I feel like I read different things in Front Porch Forum, is it the school or the SU that's withholding? Some clerical thing, do you know?
And speaking with the author of the Front Porch Forum thing, they have been trying since March to get the principal to plan something. He never planned, even the teachers, he never planned anything, so they started planning in March, and he's kind of the one that
Let's see.
has decided all of a sudden that the kids will have a one day that they can go someplace through the school. That, their insurance, they don't really let kids go off overnight. Well, that's not true because my kids both went to Boston
Mhm.
for a weekend, sixth grade. Um,
I know,
and
another Lamoille County elementary school with sixth grade trips in which the school does not participate or sanction any part of it. It's 100% on the families to organize it and run it.
yeah, well, if they had said that, so that's what it's gonna be now.
Yeah.
And so the other thing is the money goes into this fund from the dinner that pays for graduation and will pay for graduation for the kids next year. So they're a little upset because they're the ones that raised the money for this year. But anyway, I'm staying out of it. I wanted to tell you that the wait,
Can we go back to the town hall and they use the town hall for free?
yes. The wastewater design has been, 100% design has been approved by the state and the indirect wastewater permit has been approved. And the plans are that the RFP will go out to bid tomorrow on the state bid site. Finally,
Is it still the hope to do on Leachfield construction during the off school?
that's why we are scrambling.
Okay.
Pushing.
Okay. What I was hoping.
The $35,000 grant, I still don't understand it. It's a big, it wasn't last meeting.
The repayment of the grant.
I still don't understand it. It's a big mess.
This wastewater?
It's that $35,000 from 2004 that they said we owned and rolled into a new thing, and I tried to submit it, and then I had to go on a webinar with the state, and then he wanted all these other forms, which been Linda and I filled out, and I still don't understand, so I don't know where it is, but I don't know.
Is there,
It's not submitted.
is there another one that they might find before they get the previous one?
Depends
I don't
on whether
know.
they get paid for this one. If it works the first time, why wouldn't they try it a second?
And I just learned too that the Tony Smith plan, that we said we'd take, that it joins kind of the forest from the Elmore Pond side.
Yeah. Right at Corsham Farm.
Yeah, they sold the house and the 2 acres. But they are going to be building, a parking area and, a little loop trail that goes into beaver ponds back in there. And they're gonna put in some benches and a picnic table. They're not gonna make it so you can go through to the forest, but so you can go out in there and sit and stuff before they give it to us. They decided they wanted to do all that.
Did
For
we
us.
need to get a conditional use permit through DRB for that?
For what?
For building a public parking lot and.
Well, at the point that they're building, it's not public. They might need to get a driveway permit.
I do remember there was a concerned neighbor.
Yes. Yeah, I don't. To do.
So far, all they've done is come for a subdivision.
Right,
Which is done, sounds like the lot sold.
yeah. But no, you're right, but I wonder, just to do paths and trails on what's currently privately owned land,
With the parking lot.
probably won't need us a parking lot, they probably won't need us, they'll need a driveway permit. But it doesn't become a public thing until we take it, so I guess the town,
That decision happens then.
and I don't know, would the town necessarily apply for a conditional use to turn that into public recreation? I don't know if we do that.
Why? What? No,
Right,
it's a moot point.
It feels like an end around.
You wouldn't need one anyway.
If it was a private landowner that wanted to invite the public to do trails,
Then it would be a recreational area and it would be a conditional use.
Well, we
unless
can
it's a-
say, no, thank you, we're gonna pay for it ourselves with our tax money, like that way?
It might be,
and just playing devil's advocate.
it might be a permitted use anyway. It may not go to be a.
I'm saying it would be.
But no, if it's because it's in the rural district, if it's a permitted use, then it doesn't go to DRB anyway. Where, it doesn't matter.
Well, it does matter. Cause I need to tell him, he's probably not aware that he needs permits.
As long as he's private, I don't think that he does.
If it's a driveway permit, whatever, that makes sense.
Driveway permit,
driveway
yeah, you don't need permits to build trails, you don't need permits
Parking area.
to build, well, you need a driveway permit, to build the driveway. But then you don't need a conditional use permit if you're not inviting the public to use it in a different way that it's been in use prior. But if you do that, will the town need to do that?
We didn't for the town forest. What other part we didn't do anything for.
Leaves and the Dell, we didn't have to do anything because those were pre-existing.
And what about Depot Park? I mean, that predates me, but was there any conditional use for that? I think if the town owns it, it becomes public. I see what you mean. It does seem a little bit like an end around. I do still view it as a good thing.
Me too. I'm not saying I wouldn't approve it, I'm just saying.
I mean,
Well, they are not intentionally doing it as an end around, they're doing it to,
enhance it.
right,
Right.
and
Make
give
it
it
better.
to us enhanced.
Yeah, in the spirit of the will, right, from the former property owner,
Yeah.
Right,
right? Well, I get that. I just,
I can see asking for a driveway permit.
well, yes,
Yeah, gonna have to.
gives that opportunity for adjoining property owners to have their say.
I'm talking about like maybe a 3 to 5.
Yeah, similar to the one on East Elmore Road where you access
Yeah.
the forest trails, right?
And that property is pretty much all swamp, so it's just gonna be some little loop,
It's just gonna
tiny thing.
And I think that was the neighboring property owner's concern was that the only place to walk on that property is literally on his boundary line.
Well, and there was another right of way question about previous subdivisions, as I recall.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that ever resolved.
Does that mean we need a permit at Bear Salon?
Because it's publicly owned, I don't think so. So I'm looking at the table of uses. Rural outdoor recreation facility, if you want to call it that, is conditionally approved in the rural. It is a permitted use in the gateway and village core. So if a private landowner wanted to create an outdoor recreation facility, that would sit before the DRB. But again, as a municipality, I don't believe we need to ask ourselves permission.
But I'm confused. Do we own that land or they want to do this before they give us the land?
They want to do that before.
But they're not
gonna
gonna
develop,
open it to the public.
Oh, okay.
and they're gonna develop the recreational use before turning it over. In the spirit of the will of the former property owner. Or current property owner's estate. I don't know the.
It's the trust. It's the trust.
It's a trust.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm happy that they're doing it. My recommendation would be that they don't personally open it to the public because then it would require permit.
Haven't been to the flower shop, so I meet him again.
So you're asking that they don't open to the public while they're still private landowners, right?
Yes.
So the land is still private.
Well, I guess I'm not asking that. I'm alerting them.
Okay.
I think that the board is alerting them to
Yeah.
the fact that opening to the public would require a conditional use review.
Would that be the responsibility of the zoning administrator?
It's a conditional use, so it'll sit before the DRB. That's not an administrative approval in that district.
Now is the land posted?
Currently, I don't think so. I don't remember
So
so.
people wanting to wander out there hunting with permission from the trust.
We have right to roam currently.
I mean,
So what if they gave us the land and then fixed it?
Same result. Well, no, not same result, because in order for it to change title, right, that's when Northern Rivers Land Trust becomes a part of it. And that stops all development, that limits,
limits it right there.
that puts
Without
restrictions on
permission.
the,
Well, they already own it. No, Rivers.
oh, they're already,
I
Yeah,
believe so.
they're owning it.
I think their intent, they could, but I think their intention, my memory from that meeting would be, or was that they wanted to put it in a conservation easement, deed restrict it from future development. So if they do all of that in on one fell swoop, then they're gonna wait.
Well, just so you know, when you have when you write up a conservation easement, like with the forest and just like Bear Swamp, they write in what we want. So when they did that, we had them write in before the deed was done, the conservation, that we could put the force main up through
I
the
see.
forest. Same as Bear Swamp. They wanted us to tell them, we want a parking lot, we want a kiosk, we want, and so they'll write that all into the easement, that's allowed.
So in that case, there's no reason why they couldn't go through with the transfer and then do the development.
I would suggest that too. Then it'll solve all the problems.
I'm just gonna delete all of this.
Good.
I just ask a lot of questions because I don't know the answers and I'm trying to learn.
And regardless, whoever is doing the development, regardless of the property owner, will just have to make sure that they're being mindful of any easements and right of ways, just like any development would be.
Are you still saying a driveway permit is required?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay. Did you have to go over the FEMA Region 1 Lemoyle?
yeah, we haven't got there yet.
Okay.
That's next, and then we have one more. So you put that on there. I sent everyone an email.
I'd say the May 13th workshop.
Sent you an email. There's new flood maps for Wolcott and Memorial County. And there's a workshop on them. It'd be worth taking a look. There's a link on there to see where it all falls for Wolcott. I know you work and you can't go, but just to let you know.
Yeah, it's middle of the day, right?
Yeah.
And what do they mean by workshop? Like,
Oh, it's a webinar.
so you can,
It's a webinar. It's
a
not-
webinar should be what, to learn how to read them?
I know I haven't attended yet.
Which would like. You do a webinar for flood maps.
And I would say it's how to navigate the tools, what the shading and
How the criteria.
And so they used, they did them, but then I think the National Planning Commission asked them to incorporate the 2023 flood into them.
Right.
So they had to redo them.
I changed one of the base things.
It did.
Oh, I had one more thing to say that, remember I was saying I wish we had a way to attach our grant database, like any area on any given road at any location that we could say we either applied for or received a grant for this particular area. The new dirt tool will allow us somehow to do that. It's not, Yeah, and they're filling in the data from like 2018 forward, but I think it will be open to all the public.
Did you get through?
They had already started.
No, I love data though. It really helps you make a
The dirt.
good decision, you know.
Dylan and I are attending the workshop that the Lowell County Planning is having on the new MRGP, the dirt tool, and then all of the.
One small sentence that got glossed over that you said earlier in the meeting was that there is a spreadsheet that has all of the different grants and statuses. And that's the best thing I've heard this.
It's just all the, it has all of our leased land and you know, for the buyout properties, we have to have every 3 years, we have to have send in photos to show that we have a default property. So any follow-up requirements on grants or any of our leases, we have 2 leases now with the rail trail. All of that information is on a spreadsheet so that, and on the calendar. So it alerts us to that we have to do this reporting, this ongoing reporting.
I'm less excited now, but I'm still excited.
I've been waiting for a grants database, but I think it will take time to get it up to speed, but if this allows it the way, Dan couldn't show me because he couldn't find one that had been done. But if it allows us to do that, it would be pretty spectacular.
Okay, I thought we should revisit quickly Josh Ventress's request from last meeting on the Act 181 and writing a letter in opposition of the act. He did send us a copy of Holland's letter. And I reached out, do you want to read it? And I reached out to Dan Noyes today to find out where Act 181 actually stood. And he said he said it's on the floor right now. We are repealing the road rule and tier 3. It's getting messy. The committee just got ruled on exempting on farm events like weddings, lots of amendments, and we are about to go to caucus. Anyway, it seems like most of his concerns that he came in originally have been repealed, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that the biggest opposition that he had was for tier 3 road rule.
Right,
That seems like the most vocal
right.
in all of the, I mean, right now there's a Facebook group with like 14,000 members. There's 36 or 7 towns that have sent letters of opposition to the state that would like the whole thing repealed.
Well, in this letter from Holland, it also talks about, the 30% of Vermont land to be placed in conservancy by 2030 and 50% by 2050.
Which those are referenced in Act 59,
But
was passed and signed by the governor.
181 was 2 and 24. It's
So
Yeah.
181 was not signed by the governor.
real. Oh, it was
Yeah.
He vetoed it and they overrode it.
yeah,
It was still passed in 24.
Yeah.
We're just we're ironing out.
I would be opposed to signing a letter opposing that because I think sometimes conserving land, to me, conserving land that, on high mountaintops and higher elevations where you're not really able to build and along rivers and floodplains, I think it's important to do that. They talk about property rights and I can do whatever with my land, but then they're talking about people not wanting people to conserve it. It's like, you got it one way or you got it the other.
There are unbuildable spots that turn into emergency management problems later on if you build on them in other spots that don't.
I do think a lot of the opposition to focuses around exactly that, high mountain, delicate areas. And a lot of those weren't in the preliminary conservation maps, the ones surrounding ski areas and things. It looked like the optics of it were that if you could afford the luxury of developing in those difficult places, then you would be allowed to, and it was a war on the common from honor. I'm not sure if any of that is true, but that's a lot of the language that I see in the opposition groups. I personally am in huge favor of the conservation efforts and the reasons behind it. And again, personally think that 181 is deeply flawed. It needs to be.
Well, he actually sent, I didn't open it. I didn't have time because it came late. Today he sent me the link to the changes to 181, but
The road roll in tier 3, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the biggest thing that I think is they passed this law without actually having to do maps. And so you don't really know what you're passing.
Right.
And it's up to whoever draws the maps after the fact. So.
And there's no, like a lot of things that I'm learning about how things are passed, there's no, aside from what's happening now, there's not a lot of room for the public's input in how those maps are drawn and what those, there's a huge difference between intent and impact. The intent to conserve land and to keep Vermont, a nice wild natural place. The impact is that there are going to be, in the way that this is currently, people that have their retirement vehicles stripped from them. Most wealth in this state is held in the form of land. It's not 401ks, it's not trust funds. It's generational land. And when you remove the development rights from that, you remove a person's ability to, either pass on that generational wealth or cash in on it, however you choose to do that. It also seems to me to be in direct opposition of the state's goals towards increasing housing. They want 40,000 houses by the end of the decade, and they've cut the locations in which those houses can be easily, efficiently, and cost effectively built by the preliminary maps that I saw by a fair margin.
Like Wolcott, they want them in the downtowns. We don't have a downtown that's buildable.
Correct.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Right. It's just, and that's what I mean when I say personally, and I'm not wearing a select board hat, but in a personal world and with my day job, I am opposed to 181 as it's written. I did see your email that you forwarded from Dan. I have not read through the changes yet. I reached out to him when Josh did too, just to get his opinion, because there was some false information on how Dan felt about it.
Well, it says repeal the road jurisdiction trigger, repeals the section that creates tier 2 and tier 3. And then it goes on and amends things and repeals tier 3 rulemaking process. Repeals the section requiring the tier 2 area report, but you'll have to read it.
From what I've read, what's on the table right now to repeal the road roll and the tier 2 and tier 3 rules. Just take those out for now, give them a chance to rewrite them in future legislative sessions. I think meets what people are upset about.
And if they do repeal those things, they have lifted a huge burden on medium and higher density housing projects. Housing, development. Because like that tier 1B exemption thing that was going around, allowing a developer to build within 5 miles of each other or whatever, without the Act 250 approval. That's a huge thing. And if the tier 3 and tier 2 maps are repealed, and we can find the administrative capacity to manage that, I would be interested in revisiting that.
My recommendation is that, seeing as the legislature is repealing that there's really no sense in writing a letter to the legislature at this point. But if any select board member wants to write to their legislator or something individually or personally, that they are then welcome to.
Yeah, I would
I don't
agree.
know.
We're in a holding pattern until the legislature decides what to do with it anyway.
Yeah, well, we're waiting on the House, right? Senate passed it.
Well, the House was passing it today, that Dan was there.
Okay. Did that
That's what
happen?
he said. Well, he didn't, he said, it's on the floor right now. We are repealing the road rule in tier 3. So that means he's,
But did you say something about people are throwing all these conditions into it right now, right?
Yeah.
So.
well, amendments. Amendments don't really go in.
Well, and then they have to
Then it has to
work
go-
out the amendments between the Senate and the.
Yeah.
So that will happen in the next couple of days. So, yeah, I guess, I mean, I'm comfortable waiting to see what happens with this before sending any letter that represents this body.
Revisit on the 20th then? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, if we want to go that far, I would want, residents' input then. If we're gonna take a stand. More than just us.
When do you have to decide if it's on the agenda?
So Friday before.
So I think we'll have enough information by that Friday to decide if we want to put on the agenda.
Because you could always go on the front porch and ask for input from the residents.
Well, ask them to come to the meeting. We're gonna have that whole library,
Let's fill it.
probably smaller than this, but.
Possibly adding it to the May 20th.
Depending on what the legislature does.
That's been pretty cool, having grown up in New York State, to see how quickly the people can have an effect in the state of Vermont. I really think that's pretty cool.
How people what?
Have an effect on this. Like
Oh,
the people affecting statewide legislation. This organizing, which. The county that I grew up in New York was far more populous than the state of Vermont, so,
Takes a lot of voices to feel heard.
yeah. It's culturally.
anything else?
I think the mayor suggests that we adjourn.
I do have one quick statement, and this is maybe not the time to bring it up, but the planning commission Monday met, talked about a great many things. And just wanted to put a bug in you guys' ear that there is discussion about making some of our zoning processes require more administrative approval and less VRB involvement, which might increase the workload on a zoning admin, which would directly affect select board budgeting, because we would have to approve for either more hours or higher salary or whatever it takes to get that work done. There's no language drafted yet. We don't have any idea exactly what we're doing, but that was a thing that we discussed. And I said that I would put a bug in everybody's ear.
Did you say
To
zoning
know.
assistant?
I said zoning admin office, whatever. I guess is the word. But we are taking the next 2 months off, so it won't be set as
Yes,
taking some time off, so.
Mm. very excited.
That's all I had.
Can I ask you in zoning, you're working on housing updates and flooding?
We are updating zoning to deal with the Home Act changes, which deal
Yeah.
with density.
Yeah,
The other big thing on our wish list was subdivision requirements. There were some other things and some tables of uses, and there were a few other nitpicky things, but the big ones were densities and subdivisions.
I thought you were going to do something about new flood regulations too, no?
I missed the first meeting, so I'm not, and I watched it on YouTube, but I don't remember a whole lot of discussion around that. The meeting we had Monday, we didn't touch on flood regs, but we
Yeah.
were still working through Home Act stuff. I think that there was some desire or some questions as to whether or not the town wanted to make our flood regulations more restrictive. Meaning that right now we are required to, FEMA requires us to regulate in the 100-year flood.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, Seth made a recommendation that other municipalities are creating those 100-year flood zone restrictions and extending them to the 500-year. Again, I don't know what the PC's feelings on that are.
Well, pretty soon we won't have any left in the 100 or 500.
Yeah,
Will that come up with that, those flood maps that just came out?
No, well,
the 500-year is mapped.
yeah,
But currently, we don't have regulations inside the 500-year.
it would be good to look at your zoning too and update them with. I mean, it's been quite a while and, I don't know, I find that they're, hard to follow
Yes,
with new things that are coming up, like, you know, Airbnbs and things like that. I mean, it's kind of vague.
yes, I agree. Another thing we've talked about while they are open, because we're going to submit, the PC is going to submit to the select board our recommendations for changes and things. One of those is building some clarity, and there are a couple of members of us on the board who would love to see some kind of AI tool or some kind of searchable document or something that would allow an applicant to talk about what they want to do, and then it would tell them what permits they need. The state has a permit finder where you tell them what your project is and they tell you what applicable permits you might need. I'd like to see us build something like that into our zoning to make sure that not only the applicants know, but so does anybody in the zoning office. They would be able to cross-check against their own knowledge. Because I also believe that the 135-page document is not altogether very clear,
No, it's horrible.
so. This is not a page-by-page review. We're not gonna rewrite the whole thing, much to some of our disappointment, but.
Okay, we're ready to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Just like that, no seconds, no votes, here we go.
Feels weird.
Doesn't it though?
You sure that we don't need a second?
Well,
I will. I don't sleep at night.
Just a reminder, the next meeting on the 20th is gonna be at the Wolcott Elementary School Library.
Does that go out on? In the front porch for morning, or posted yet, it'll go out for morning?
You don't have to warn, I have to warn the agenda 3 days prior.
Okay, how about the location?
So I think it's just associated with the warrant, the agenda, but
To be pretty clear to some of it, if they're using the food for voting, they're gonna be going in here like, they're looking for it, like.
Be somebody here to tell them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not sure where the regular crowd of spectators will sit at the school.
yeah, the Zoom up there is, or the Wi-Fi pretty bad, so be prepared.